Sophia, you're doing something to empower young women. Please tell us about this project that you're working on.
Specifically women of color and not necessarily young. So thanks for asking. I have created a program called Unlock Her Potential. And it's up, the initials, right, are up, which I'm very proud of, patting myself on the back for that. I have been fortunate enough for 33 years to be mentored by Michael Austin. And his mentorship has meant everything to me. And so I realized some years ago, I was doing a lecture at Columbia University. One of my girlfriends stood up, a Black woman, and she said, Sophia, I've never been mentored. How do I get a mentor? And we started talking about the ways that people could get mentors. And then Danielle Belton, who you've had on your show, the editor-in-chief of The Root, on the way home, she said, I'm really glad that she asked that question because, you know, women of color have a lot of trouble getting mentors. This had never occurred to me as an issue. So I started doing research. As you can imagine, there's very little written about it. This was 4 or 5 years ago. There's probably more written now. And so I decided, okay, you know what, Sophia, you have access, right? And you could probably pull together some folks. So it is specifically, again, it's for women of color because women, America, because of white supremacy, the default will always be whiteness, right? So if you tell me that you're doing anything for women, what does that mean to me? It means white women, the vast majority, right? So my girlfriend, Treva Lindsay, that I'm talking about, who quoted Angela Davis to me, she said, Sophia, it is not enough to be not to be racist. You have to be actively anti-racist. So what does that mean for me? So what that means for me is that I don't create a program for mentorship for women. I don't create a program for men. I create a program specifically for women of color because this is where the greatest dearth exists, right? And so in less than 4 days, I secured over 100 mentors. These are all my people. They're my friends. I didn't put out a public call. These are my folks. These are friends and or colleagues. And in like 4 weeks, we had 500 women signing up for updates. And I hadn't even announced a mentor yet. And so we're starting to reveal them. And we're going to launch in the next month or so. And I'm really excited about it because the way that people responded, Karen, they were like this. Hey, so what's up? Oh, so I have this program for mentorship for women of color. I'd like you to be a mentor. It's called, they're like, enough. Where do I sign up? There was no hesitation. And that means a few things to me. Right? It means that my friends are dope as fuck, number one. Number two, it means that they immediately understood the importance of such a program. And it also means that, frankly, it speaks to who I am. Not just that I would come up with the idea. It's extraordinarily original, mentorship for women of color. No, of course it's not. But it is specifically the fact that I pulled it together in this way. You will see the mentors and how diverse they are. And that I think that my friends also knew, because one of my friends said to me, oh, okay, you're doing it. It's going to work, right? Because an idea or talent without execution is almost meaningless to me. Like you could have a dope ass idea, but unless you could write the script, unless you can get it on television, unless you can put it in a book or just get it out on Instagram or whatever platform it is, existing in your mind, I don't think that's, for me personally, that's not what ideas are for. That's not what my God-given gifts are for. My gifts are to share with other people. So what are my gifts? Storytelling, writing a book, writing a television show, creating this program. I have the idea, but if I just sit on it, who the fuck cares? It has no impact unless I'm going to get it out into the world. And look, it's my beta year. There will be mistakes. There will be, there will be obstacles. There will be unpredicted and unforeseen issues with the program. But all that matters is that I have the idea and I'm going to make it happen, flaws and all. So I'm really excited about it, Karen, because this is what I want to do. Everything that I do has a twofold purpose, all right? So my audiobook and now my memoir, The Baddest Bitch in the Room, I'm doing two things with that. On the one hand, I'm telling you my very personal, unique story. Oh my God, I'm a French major. Oh my God, I hear the message. Oh my God, I moved to New York. I'm the first Asian woman in hip hop. I'm raised by Wu-Tang. I marry a Shaolin monk, all that kind of stuff, right? So that's, the project in and of itself is one thing. But the second prong to me All right. I tell people that when I speak, I'm trying to punch everybody in the face. So the left hook is the book, but the right hook is this. The right hook is that I talk about my book, and what I say is I am cracking open the world's imagination on what I can be. I am 55. I am Asian. I am a mother. I am single. So what you see in my COVID Dick Diaries, that's not just me expressing myself. That is me saying, see me, right? You know this from my memoir. One of the things that I say in the final chapter is, you may not like what you see, but you will see me, motherfucker. Right? So that's a secondary narrative line that goes along with my memoir. In terms of unlock her potential, what I am trying to do and what I believe that I can achieve is I want to correct corporate America's read white male gaze towards this issue. All right? So 65% of corporations, of the big companies in this country, de rigueur now have a CSR program, which is corporate social responsibility, right? They also, many of them now have D&I, which is diversity and inclusion. And these things are very, very important. Additionally, I want them now to acknowledge that women of color in this country don't get mentored. I want to force the gaze and say, why don't you look at this and see what this means in your company? Do you have the courage? Do you have the intrepidity to open up HR's books and at every single level at your company, starting from assistant all the way through your C-suite, do you have the courage to even admit to yourself what percentage of that every level are women of color? Because we know what it looks like, right? We know what it looks like. Fortune 500, Forbes 5, the Forbes CEO list, whatever those lists are. There is such a stunning dearth of women of color at those levels. As we ascend, right, it's a pyramid. So as we ascend, it gets narrower and narrower and narrower so that you can barely teeter something on the top of that pyramid. So I would love it to get to I want CEOs of companies going, oh, look what Sophia Chang is doing. Turn to HR and say, go create a program for mentorship for women of color. Do I think I'm going to realize some sort of grand ideological shift in this country where suddenly people start to value women of color? No. Frankly, do I care? What I care about are the results. I don't even care I don't care if I have to shame the shit out of you to do this. Right? Would it be better if you were like, oh my God, Sophia, I never realized you're totally right. I should blah, blah. I should do this for the right reasons. I don't even care if you're doing it just to save face. What I care about are the results. What I care about is that white corporate, again, read male America, understands that there is this lack, that there is this hole that needs to be filled. And not just because it's the right thing to do. It's not tokenism, right? It's not window dressing. It's not quotas. It is absolutely that if you have diversity in your rooms, whether it is a corporate boardroom, whether it is management of a sports team, whether it is a writer's room in television or film, it will be richer. It can't not be. It does not stand to reason that the only people making decisions in this country should be white men. That makes straight white men. That makes no sense whatsoever. And women of color, from my experience, are uniquely hardworking and ingenious and creative and disciplined and team players. We're so good at this. How could you not want us in your fucking room? I don't get it. Like, I think every Hollywood writer's room should have a black woman in the room, specifically a black woman. You guys have been writing us for so long, and you always get it wrong. Get a black woman in the room, because as far as I can tell, black women, specifically the black feminists that I know, 96% of black women voted for Hillary, I believe. Black women are the backbone of the Democratic Party. Black women have been, again, from what I've learned from Treva Lindsay, black women and women of color have been hidden figures, so to speak, behind every major historical cultural shift in this country. So I want more women of color to be brought up and to be given the tools that white men by default are given. It's not even a discussion.
We have less than a minute. If are you still fielding mentors if they need to
Yes.
to be mentored? Where do they go?
No, what's going to happen is, so people are signing up at unlockherpotential.com, unlockherpotential.com. That is also our Instagram and our Twitter. They're signing up for updates. And then very soon, in the next couple of weeks, I will let everybody know when we launch the full list of mentors. And then everybody will sign up, and you sign up specifically for a specific mentor. I would like Sophia Chang to be my mentor. You sign up for me. I'm not doing any matchmaking. I'm not doing that. You do that. The onus is on you. Do your research. Figure out why I should be your mentor, or whoever, one of the other 100 people.
That's dope.